Welcome to Red Tiger Chronicles. This is Sifu Paul Mason, owner of Red Tiger Martial Arts in Cincinnati, Ohio, and this podcast is to help some of the most extraordinary martial artists that walk among us tell us their stories. Thanks for joining us today. We have a couple of my Filipino martial arts brothers that are near and dear to my heart, Wilmer Flores and Rey Rivera. We trained together in the art of Balintawak, and I'm glad that they're here to share their experiences in the Filipino martial arts and other martial arts, and basically how it's impacted their lives, and learn a little bit about their martial arts journeys. All right, I want to talk a little bit about Wilmer Flores first, just to give you a little bit of background on him. You are from El Salvador, is that correct?
I was born there.
All right, excellent. And I have down that you graduated from honors, or with honors, from La Union High School.
Yeah.
And then you made your way to the U.S. after high school, right after high school?
Yeah, right after.
Okay. I have that you earned your green belt in Taekwondo.
I did it.
You did?
Yeah, I did that.
And then somewhere along that journey, you just went full force into the art of Balintawak, earning your level 6 in 2004.
Yeah.
Under Grandmaster Jorge Penafiel.
Jorge Penafiel, yeah.
Who is a master in the Tabota Balintawak organization.
Yeah.
And then Master Penafiel, he actually created his own system called the Putakti System, and you were awarded a first-degree black belt by him in that specific system in 2005.
Yeah.
And I learned that you got third place in forms competition at the Arnold Classic.
I did
in Columbus.
Yeah.
And then I also have that you got first place at the Arnold Classic in 2013. Was that in forms or was that in fighting?
Fighting.
In fighting. Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. And if I shift over to Ray, I know very little about your martial arts journey, so I'm going to go over a couple of things and you kind of correct me or elaborate if you want to. So I know you started in Kendo.
Yes.
And is from a guy that taught in Northern Kentucky.
Yes, Sensei Atkins.
Sensei Atkins. I believe I remember that gentleman from a seminar. And then you made the jump to Horongdo.
Yes.
Under Master C.M. Griffin.
Yes.
And you earned a second or third degree black belt?
Second degree.
Second degree black belt there.
Yes, sir.
And it is my understanding you are the last student of the late Grandmaster Jorge Penafiel.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you got to level 5?
Level 4.
Level 4.
Level 4.
Okay.
And then in the Putakti system, he just had me document. I have a whole book of the techniques that he had me document. And so I didn't really test for that like Wilmer did.
Right.
But I always wanted to, and obviously things happen the way they happen. But maybe one day we'll hash it up.
Yeah.
All right. So you have a book.
I do.
Why have we not seen this book?
Well, I actually just ran across it when I was doing some cleaning. I'm like, oh man, I have all these techniques that Grandmaster Penafiel had me write down. And I was like, man. So I think I brought it to your house one time, and we were constructing a book as well in that same book. But I saw that the other day. So I was, man. Then you contacted me to do this, so it was kind of fortuitous.
Okay. I would like to see the book sometimes and see what we can learn from it.
Get things more specified. Yeah.
No idea there was a book. So just to give some context from my perspective, I started my martial arts journey 2008, and really the thing that got me excited about martial arts was watching the Filipino martial arts at the Arnold Classic or the Battle of Columbus in Columbus, Ohio. And that just kind of led me, it just kind of happenstance, you guys, Cincinnati Balintawak Club was practicing at the same facility. Sifu Lambert was having his classes. He had owned that building at the time. And I made contact with him because that was the phone number to that address, and got started down that road of the Wing Chun and the Kung Fu. But I did start training with Master Penafiel congruently for about a year, I guess. The rest of the time that building was available, you know. And I remember you were running most of the classes that I just happened to come to.
Yeah.
There are a lot of great guys there. I'll shout out Rob Grossman. He helped me out a lot. Rob Hicks, Michael Malignon, Mactan, which hopefully we can get him someday on here. But just fast forward, some years later, that space was unavailable to train, and people just kind of went their own ways. But we needed a house painter. And then I knew that you painted houses from your Facebook posts and stuff. So I contacted you, and I said, hey, I want to get back up on the Balintawak, and I've been trying train at least intermittently, semi-regularly for the last few years, and it's fun. I can't, it's a fun experience, and especially the relationship that it has to other martial arts. I think we've talked probably extensively how you can take the stick out of the hand and use a lot of the concepts for empty hand, or put a knife in the hand and that a lot of concepts. So that's kind of how we started training together. So I want to get with Ray, and if you want to tell me a little bit about how you got started with.
Sure. Actually, Grandmaster Penafiel came to, I was a yellow belt in Hwarangdo. He came to class and did a demonstration. And I was lucky enough, he handpicked me out to beat up, which I was very impressed because he tossed me around. I'm a pretty big guy, 260 pounds. And he threw me around, led me around with the stick. I got hit with the stick, and I was so impressed on his speed. He was so fast for, at that time. I mean, I don't think he was quite 70 yet, but he was like 67, and he was quick.
Sure.
And I'm thinking, I'm 27, thinking I'm quick, and it was awesome. And then I took him home that day, and we talked in the car, and he was like, talk to Master Brown to see if you can train with me, because I was like the only student that was like asking questions that day.
Yeah.
And it was just a good experience. So I contacted Master Brown, and Master Brown talked to Grandmaster Penafiel. And then after that 2 weeks went by, and I finally heard from Grandmaster Penafiel. I was like, hey, do you want to come over? Your teacher said it was okay for you to train. And that's how I started going over to his house and getting one-on-one lessons, which I'm very, very grateful for, that I got to spend that time. We went to breakfast every morning, and then went to train. It was wonderful.
That's awesome. And so about what year was that you started with him? About 2010, 11 maybe?
I would say 2000. Yeah, 2010, 2011. Definitely.
And Wilmer, how did you get started with Grandmaster Penafiel?
I was training under Master Faraday, Taekwondo.
Yes, sir.
So I did a couple years. And then at the same facility, he was teaching the stick fighting. So when I saw that, I was like, I need to try that. And back then, I couldn't speak the language. That was a language barrier, and it was complex. But I asked him if I can join then, and he welcomed me.
Now you gotta have understood a little bit, because I think there's a lot of cognates in Tagalog, right? And Spanish. So you should understand a little bit, right?
Yeah, but no, there is few words, but in reality, it was very complicated for me to understand it. But what I did was to see the movement or the techniques. So that was kind of like the part of the way I learned it.
So it had to be so tough. Like
it was.
I think about like how much trouble I have understanding stuff that I'm learning from Sifu at certain points, and we speak the same language.
Oh no, you have no idea. I mean, I want to be very friendly with everybody, back then, but I got a good friend like Michael Melanio, Elman Cabotage, and I mean, there was a nice group, Rey Asuncion.
Yes, sir.
But they want to be more friendly to me, but I was like language barrier, so I couldn't be expressing myself,
I think
so. Yeah, the learning process was very complex.
That kind of reminds me of something. Like I'm curious as to how you guys think about this. So I feel like when you get to a certain level or put a certain amount of time into martial arts, I think probably the spoken language becomes much less important. Like they usually say, love is the universal language, but I think, on some level fighting is too.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that, because there's some things that no matter what style you're looking at, even when you're watching a movie of some sort, you know exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And even if you're not talking and you're sparring, that's a language too. And you can definitely tell when someone's frustrated or if someone's sad or if someone's, going through some things.
Yeah, so I think that probably helped with your understanding too.
Oh no, I really liked the art, and from the beginning. So to me was I stick around, so I didn't quit.
So I'm just
that easy, and
I'm curious, so how did you learn English for the most part? Was it through training martial arts, or was it through some other way?
No, I would start going to school, like adult classes and stuff, and I started spending a lot more time the language.
Okay, cool.
So I still have problem communicating, but not like back then. I mean, it was very frustrating.
Yeah, I bet.
But that kind of motivated me to keep learning. And then, Master George was very, very humble and willing to teach me.
Yeah.
And that was very unique apart from him. So
we can't really do this podcast without kind of making it a homage to him, because he was, the second martial arts instructor I ever had an experience with, and even though I trained, directly under him for just a short time, it was a profound experience. Not just the tactics and martial skill he was trying to impart, but man, you talk about he made you ask your Hwarangdo instructor if you could train with them, and that, he's just a class act.
Yes.
He's just a class act. I'd never seen him get upset or frustrated on the mat. I don't know if you guys have, because you spent a lot more time. Have you?
Have you?
I've never seen it, but
it get frustrated when you don't get to understand what he was trying to teach. But it became part of the friendship to all these little things that he had, and he tried to communicate by teaching the art. And so I highly felt good and be around and met, and cause he was very friendly way, and whatever he wanted to teach you, it was like he wanted more like deeply to understand his concept, or the idea that he.
I would agree with that, because part of the training that I did wasn't all physical. I learned about the Filipino history.
Yeah,
I learned about the belly song. I learned about Magellan and all these things that I had no idea about the Philippines at all. And he taught me about Batangas and about the guys on Balintawak Street, where all this stuff happened, and it was a good experience that way, because I didn't know anything about the Filipino history, and now because of him, I do, because they don't teach that in school, at least here.
It's kind of a shame, because the Philippines, for a long time that was basically an American territory. It was part of America. It was also part of one of the largest I guess, European empires in the world at one time. So if you look, you probably go back 400 years or so, the Philippines, El Salvador, Puerto Rico, Mexico, Guatemala, all these different places were part of what they called New Spain, right? And then, but you don't, because, they cease to be a world power. It's just, history's kind of written by the victors. So, I think you have to have an understanding of the culture that a particular martial arts comes from to really
absolutely
understand how to make it work best for you.
Oh yeah, I agree on that.
Yeah. And I'm glad he gave you that information. I mean, in fact, I thinking about my own experience with like the Chinese martial arts, if I didn't at least know, some rudimentary Chinese words or know a little about etiquette and protocol, it wouldn't be the same. It would just be, and I don't think it would be as enriching, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, that's super important.
That's why teachers are very important. And when people are going to look for martial arts schools, it's good to watch, but also find out where the teacher's lineage is.
Yeah.
Because that's very important to learn the culture, the bowing, the respect, and kind of where all that comes from.
Yeah. And I think the the respect part is good. I mean, the more you learn how to show respect, and then if you're around people that are showing you respect, you're probably less likely to get in fights anyway. And that's the best way to win a fight is not to get into a fight.
Absolutely. A lot of kids should learn that these days.
Yeah.
Respect is getting lost, in my opinion. But now I sound old.
Yeah.
Like, these kids don't respect anybody these days.
I mean, I agree. And I guess I'm in that generation,
Like, yeah, you're a millennial, right? You're a solid millennial,
Yeah,
Alex.
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I was thinking about, when we talk about the culture, to me, I see very little at where I'm at now in my life and my martial arts career. I see very little difference, tactically in the martial arts, especially the Far Eastern martial arts, I guess you could say. There might be arts that place an emphasis on certain skill sets, but I feel like the main difference is the culture and it's the method of teaching that comes from that particular culture. And so that's why I say I don't think there's any best martial art. It's just, which one is better for you? Like, which one do you jive with and vibe with, and, which methodology speaks to you? So I was thinking about, when you were taking Taekwondo, I guess you kind of left that world because Balintawak spoke to you more?
I sort of chained to Balintawak, yes, but I haven't really left it.
Right.
I kept it. Whatever I learned, I kept it. I do my best to maintain. I didn't continue. I didn't became black belt on it, but I kept it. Or that helped me also. That was sort of transition to Balintawak too, because that way I learned it, like the body needed to be more stretching and all these little things that helped me. So
so the attributes you trained in Taekwondo and some of the skills, there's definitely a transferable skill set to the Balintawak, and that's kind of what I believe. And I think whatever martial art you take, if you make a transition from one to the other, you shouldn't be like shunning the form of art. You should be able to, if it was legit, you should be able to take what you learned and incorporate it into the new stuff you're doing, or look at it like the new stuff that you're doing, you're just adding tools to your toolbox.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to throw anything away.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the martial art's your own. So I was wondering, Ray, like, have you, like, when you were training, I know you were training Hwarangdo for a while and maybe the Balintawak at the same time. Did you eventually kind of transition more to the Balintawak?
Well, what Grandmaster Penafiel told me, and I'll never forget, is he goes, you should do both all the time, because when you stand in front of Bobby and you're training for your level 6, which is the qualified instructor, you have to do 25 or 30 new techniques that you come up with by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, if you complete Hwarangdo, you can incorporate those techniques that all the Balintawak guys haven't seen and use those as your 25 techniques. So he said, don't stop doing that. This is just going to add to that. And on the flip side, when I would do tournaments in New Jersey, I was the only guy there with a machete. And I did the Balintawak, shadow boxing 1 through 4 with a machete, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, that's awesome!" But you can use it with a knife, you can use a machete or a stick. So it really helped to do both. And Grandmaster always said, "Always do both. Always have another set of skills to add to the Balintawak."
That's really interesting to me. That to test to be an instructor, you have to like come up with your own techniques. It's like everyone that makes it to that level is contributing to the art. That's really cool.
Oh, but since we're talking so much about Balintawak, I know I mentioned it on the last episode where I was being interviewed briefly, but since you brought up some of the history, Ray, let's just kind of get a background on like what is it, how did it originate, and that kind of thing, just so for people that maybe not have heard of it or are too familiar.
Well, there's on Balintawak Street. That's a street in the Philippines, and that's where all these stick fighters come from. There was Anson Becong, which is I want to say like the godfather or probably the founder of Balintawak, because he lived on that street, and those guys were feared because their technique was tested on the street.
Right. They
would get in actual fights, and that's how come that Balintawak is what it is, because it's proven techniques. And he went to jail one time because he killed somebody or got in a fight. I'm pretty sure he killed somebody. And in that time that he was in jail, he actually refined the techniques and wrote them down. So when he got out, that's when he started teaching. And I believe Bobby was one of his students.
Oh yeah,
At that time when he was a kid.
Oh wow. I didn't realize he had that direct of a connection. Yeah.
He was very direct.
So Balintawak Street. Yeah, that's in I don't know what town it is, but I know it's on the island of Cebu.
Yes,
and I think that's where Master Penafiel was from, right? Cebu.
No, I think he was Iloilo.
Iloilo.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. Yeah. Cool. So, what is it about? Or actually, let me ask this first. So what do you think sets apart Balintawak from some of the other stick fighting arts that are out there? Like, I don't know, whatever Danilo Santo, his foundation stick fighting art is, or like Doce Perez, or some of the other.
In my opinion,
lineages.
Balintawak is speed and striking. That is like I would say 90%. Yeah, they have the disarms, which is a good thing, but even using the end of stick, the butting system, I just think speed and striking is huge. Like, you got to hear the swoosh of the stick, even when you're facing with somebody and you're 1 foot apart. Grandmaster Penafiel wanted to hear the swoosh, 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 and you're that close. And that to me is what I think sets it apart from the Doce Pares, which isn't bad by any means, but I think the speed and being accurate with where that stick is going and realizing the fastest part of the stick.
What do you think? What do you think, Wilmer?
I mean, I would say that the speed is part of the Balintawak different, but there's a lot of more. Bobby have a good ideology, like the way he move, and be precise striking.
Okay.
So with the power too, he tried to teach power.
Okay.
Not weakness in every strike. So that way, I I really see it that it's beneficial for anyone that is teaching. I mean, learning Balintawak.
So
That when you you cannot swing the stick, you have to show some power.
yeah, for sure. So the expression of speed and power and footwork, it sounds like, is some of the main characteristics. I had mentioned, I think, before that it was primarily a single stick art, whereas some of the other Filipino arts are double stick. And I don't know, is that accurate? I mean, I'm asking you guys because you're
I believe
higher
that's
than me.
way more accurate. It's usually a single stick. Now you have your live hand, but that is for like the trapping. Now you can put a knife in that hand too, but I think the live hand is for more defense.
All right, good. I just need a little validation on that. I'm still a lowly level 1 in the art, and you guys know what you're talking about. So what is it you guys about? I mean, and I'm going to ask, genuinely, I feel like Master Penafiel had a unique expression. I've seen, I've been to several seminars. I've seen a lot of the top level guys, the FQIs, fully qualified instructors, and that organization puts out people with skill, right? They're not, these aren't paper tigers. And I've seen Master Kubota, Grandmaster Kubota too, work with these guys. But when I think about Master George, it's different. To me, it's like a different level.
I agree. He had I don't know if he knew that he did it, but his cat stance or his tiger or his cat stance is what we call it. I don't know. It was superb. Even when he was just doing his normal strikes and when he would back up, his front foot would always be forward because he has a Tang Sudo background as well. So that front foot would always be set to kick, like every single time. And every time he would either move from left to right or even going backwards, that foot would always be out. And that always impressed me because as a student, you're trying to think of all these things. If I move left, my left foot has to go first, and your back foot, but he just did it so fluently and so fast, even at his age. It was incredible to see.
Yeah, I agree. That that just hammers home the importance of the footwork, I think. What do you think, Wilmer?
Yeah, I mean, Bobby. I mean, Master George. He was unique because I think that background that he had on Tansudo. I think there is everybody. I think develop their own way of understanding a martial art. Don't matter what art you're training. At the end, as a person, you're gonna develop your own way. Can be beneficial, can be unbeneficial. But the way Master George he did it, it was very beneficial. Cause he don't move linear. He go around. He never stick in one place. So that's what is called the Putakti.
Yeah.
So the way he execute every technique was not linear.
So would you say that was the most important takeaway for you? Like, is that like one of the most important things you learned, or did you were you already like that in your Taekwondo, or did you learn that from him specifically?
I will say I learned it from him because, I mean, on the beginning, you don't understand, you start something, but you don't understand the concept or the main idea. So along the way, I was training under Master George. So I understood that a fight is not going to be linear. So that's the way that I understood it. So I try to copy his idea. I will say that does work for him, and it does work for me. I will say anyone is able to understand whatever way they can. Or they, as I say, every trainer, every martial art trainer is gonna develop his own way of understanding the art. So in this case, Master George, I will say I inherited by him. He's the one that guide me on the Putakti movement.
Good.
And I'll co-sign on that, because when I train with Wilmer, or I see videos of him and Grandmaster Penafiel look very similar in their movements as far as where they move and what technique that they're doing. So that's kind of the reason why. I mean, Grandmaster Penafiel, when he would tell me, he's like, "Hey, if anything ever happens to me, go to Wilmer," and he'll. Yeah. So he mentioned him by name, and that's the reason why I called him after everything happened. But Wilmer does have that Putakti theme, and Putakti means like hornet, or bee, and that's when Grandmaster Penafiel was telling me, he's like, when you go in to strike, you go in, whoosh, you keep on stinging, boom, 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 3 or 4 times, and then the fight should be over. And that's how I learned about the word Putakti.
Yeah, and that was his philosophy.
So, Ray brought up an interesting point, and I've said this before. I mean, Wilmer, you have the very similar expression to Master Penafiel. Is that something that he worked on you with specifically, or is it just something you kind of absorbed, do you think?
I would say he worked on, but I really was willing to absorb it. Okay. Yeah, I was. I look at his movement techniques, way he execute. So I was willing to follow or to understand what he was expressing.
But it wasn't like he didn't instruct you like, okay, the way that I'm able to move like this is doing, A, B, C and that kind of thing. You just kind of
not really. Yeah. I would say he was expressing his art, and I was willing to understand every technique. So I'm not gonna say that. I mean, I feel lucky you guys saying that I sort of move the same way or sort of execute the same way, but I just did my part as a student. Like, okay, I see how he move, how he expressing, and that's what I did. It's nothing like. I mean, I feel thankful for you guys saying that, but it's nothing like special. It's what I was trying to absorb it.
He had an empty cup.
Yeah. So I mean, that's
a good way to say it.
Yeah, that's a foundational martial arts attribute. Empty cup, being able to like put aside all your preconceived notions and biases and things. But yeah, this has been kind of a project of mine and a like a mental exercise to try to figure it out, because I've seen Master Penafiel move, and if anybody out there that's listening, you could go to, I think it's the Facebook page, Cincinnati Balintawak chapter that Michael Malignon runs, or even if you go to we have a YouTube here that Wilmer has. If I can find it, it's just Wilmer Flores FMA, and then the Instagram is Biloxi Putakti, all one word. And you can see Master Penafiel. There's a couple of clips on each of those channels, I believe, and then you can see Wilmer's expression too. And it's kind of been a project of mine to figure that out, because if one guy can do it, you could kind of write that off as, okay, that guy's just extremely gifted, right? But if another guy that trained under that guy can do it, then you have something there. You have an ability to replicate that. But I haven't been able. Have you been able to, Ray?
I don't think so. Like the way Wilmer and Grandmaster Penafiel have done it seems like they're so light on their feet, and I don't know if I can ever get that concept, but they're just everything looks so light and so fast. And
so to me, if I'm watching, so I just got a demo pulled up here. One of these old Men of Bronze and Fire things. His movements are just super efficient, right? And so that's like from Alex and I, like our study of Wing Chun, I'm noticing like a lot of movements are not coming from the shoulder; they're coming from the elbow, and he has a lot of. I mean, the stick is a long range weapon, right? It's a range extender, but he squares up, right? Because so he can use that stick to make impact, but he's also using that backhand to parry. But he's got a thing that they talk about in Kung Fu a lot, fajing, right? The thing that like the impulse power, that's, you see people breaking bricks and using their chi to break bricks and stuff. That's what I'm seeing. That
whipping,
the ability to whip the stick and send the energy through the stick, with very little wasted movement. So yeah, that's.
So do you think it's similar to the way like we use like Bachang Dao in that sense? Because I know I've seen like when we've done stuff like that, I've seen like at least like I feel like we'll square off in a further range than we would an empty-handed kind of thing. Like,
okay, so when we talk about strategies, I think it's super similar, right? And who knows how that came to be, like after the fall of the Ming Dynasty. I mean, I think it's probably feasible that some Chinese nationals or even monks went down to the Philippines, because I know they went to Indonesia, and Okinawa. So yeah, maybe there was some of that influence there, or maybe it's just organic because people are just going to be people. Just like when people are, I don't want to offend anybody, but when people are creating religions, people on the other side of the world might have similar origin stories.
Right.
Yeah. So,
right.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, that was a good point. Alex. But definitely that expression that Master Penafiel had, and I think that Wilmer has, that is the hallmark of the Putakti system.
Yeah. I mean,
it is. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. So what else do you guys think makes that different? Makes the Putakti system different? Because if we go back to Master George's bio, he actually got an audience with what's her name? Grandmaster Ruby.
Yes.
When was that? Do you guys remember what year that was?
Is that when he went to Vegas?
2001.
Texas, I think.
Was it Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tuhan Gaudiosa Ruby, known as the Queen of Filipino Martial Arts of the United States Kali Association. So I guess he did like a demonstration and in front of her and a panel of masters and grandmasters, and then she kind of christened his art, the Putakti system, as a standalone Filipino martial arts system. So, I mean, why do you think that was? Like, what made it special to her and that group?
Honestly, it's the striking. Is he can pull off 4 or 5 different strikes just on going to the one side, and then even backing up, and he had that speed just to pull off when someone does one swing, he's hitting you 4 or 5 times for that one swing that one person has.
So flow and timing, I think, probably
huge
went into that. Cool. I'm gonna play something for you, Ray, and I want you to tell me a little bit about it here. Let me see if I can get it queued up. Yeah, go ahead and press play when you're ready, and just kind of describe what's going on here and what your thoughts were. And
this was a demonstration / tournament we had at the Nagel High School, and this is where he's showing me all of the different movements for that one per strike, all of the different things that you're doing that you can have. Man, this is awesome. I didn't know this video existed. It's really awesome. And he's showing where to place the actual strike when you're going with with a machete. And we have all this stuff written down too. And I think Wilmer and I wrote it down too. The different strikes on your clavicle and things. And when you stick the machete in, how to pull it out going under the rib. Man, this is awesome. I had no idea. This is really cool. Is this online? This is online.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Wow. You should be able to access it. I think I might have a longer video somewhere too. That one's edited, I think, just for time.
And now we're gonna do basic quintada. Now he's showing exactly what. Man, this is so cool.
Does he have the knife or the?
He has a knife now, and now he has a stick, and now he just did the snake, and now this is where you can choke someone out. When you put the stick right behind the elbow, and you hit the artery. I forget what that's called.
Carotid artery.
Carotid artery, and you just squeeze. And that's exactly him doing 4 techniques to my 1. Right when I punch. And you can see how smooth he is. Like, he's not breathing hard. He was not sweating. I was sweating.
Yeah.
This is really, really cool. And this is cool that this is here.
How old do you think he was back then?
I had to have been probably 33.
Or that you were 33.
Yeah.
How do you think he was?
Maybe older than 65. I was at his 70th birthday party. That we had, it was like at a Fairfield center.
Oh yeah,
and I know that was after this, but maybe a year or 2 after this. Not too long. Man, cool. Really cool. Thanks for showing me that.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
No problem. Yeah, here's one for you, Wilmer.
Oh, right here in the middle, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Just want to tell me what's going on there and what your thoughts were back then.
Yeah, he always used me as a rookie, so
yeah.
He was applying the Balintawak technique, incorporating the Putakti System.
Yeah, that's what I loved about his demos, because he would show, starting out in the long, like the weapons range, all the way down to the ground, all the way to like a grappling range, and hit those, submissions or breaks or things.
So it's
yeah, that was a short one. That was like a 40-second video, but I think there was like 10,000 different strikes between both of you.
Yeah. No, and in this case, you have to defend only, so very hard to defend. You can't strike back.
All right. Yeah, I think that's about all I've got. Alex, do you have anything that you want to add, or?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered it pretty well.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let you guys promote yourselves. As far as I know, at the moment, you guys are just doing martial arts for the love of the art, but you got a lot of things going. Ray, if you want to plug your new venture.
Yes. If anyone is out on the east side, they can come to House of M Arcade and Comics. There's arcades there, comic books, action figures, anime stuff. It's just a really fun time. So it's kind of like a destination thing. So if anyone wants to get out there and nerd out, they absolutely can.
So it's the House of M in Milford?
No, it's in Amelia, 1369 West Ohio Pike, Amelia, Ohio, 45102.
Cool deal. And cool. Wilmer, what are you up to? What's the name of your business?
Better Price Painting is my job, or business. But I do a lot of remodeling lately, so I feel thankful for being around.
So you're a jack of all trades, kind of.
Right? Sort of, yes. But
you paint?
I figured I paint. I do a lot of drywall and flooring and stuff. So
floors,
yeah,
roofs.
I do roof, but mostly I do a lot of gutters lately. So
gutters.
It does tile too.
Yeah,
tile.
Yeah. So yeah, I
well, I might have to hit you up. I just bought a house that needs a lot of work. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
I can testify. Wilmer did our gutters, and he secured them so leaves don't get in there, and he fortified them because something about, just normal wear and tear. It was causing moisture to get in the kitchen.
Mhm.
And so we don't have that problem anymore. So it's solid. He painted this house outside, him and his guys. So
Nice.
yeah, it's solid.
He painted my parents' house too on the interior.
I've been blessed. I mean, I've been, and Master George used to encourage me to go on my own, and I tried to understand his advice. So that was good.
All right. Well, I guess Radar is telling us it's time to wrap it up. I'll have
He wants
to
to talk.
post a picture of him. Yeah. Nice job, buddy.
Well, guys, thank you. Reminiscing about Grandmaster Penafiel really is awesome because obviously I probably don't talk about him a whole lot. Miss him very, very much, and it's just really cool that keeping the memory alive. So I appreciate you, Paul, for putting this together. I appreciate you, Wilmer, coming out because I know everyone's busy. And thanks for recording all this and taking your time.
Of course. Thanks for coming on.
A lot of fun. All right, guys, we'll wrap it up, and maybe let's just go ahead. We'll get a little demo video just so we can promote this thing. Alex, I'll let you go ahead and take us out.